Alright, we are on the downward slide of this chapter. So what we're going to talk about today is dividing real numbers. Couple things we need to know before we embark on this division thing is we need to know the word reciprocal. And the reciprocal of a non-zero number, a, is 1 over a. So by non-zero it means a can't equal 0. And the reason a can't equal 0 is there is no such thing as 1 divided by 0. So no such thing. So back to this. The reciprocal of a is 1 over a. The reciprocal, there's a vocab word for you, is also known as the multiplicative inverse. So what the multiplicative inverse does is when you multiply a number by its multiplicative inverse, the answer is always 1. So here I've got my little variable examples. I've got a times 1 over a. And that gives me 1 because the a's cancel. Or we have the number 8. Whoops. Erase that. We have the number 8 times 1 over 8. Well, multiplying a whole number by a fraction, we make the whole number a fraction, and then we multiply straight across. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 over 8 is 1, because any number divided by itself is always 1. So let's check out some examples. What is the multiplicative inverse of negative 2? Well, the multiplicative inverse is negative 1 over 2. Right? The sign will stay the same. What is the multiplicative inverse of 1/3? Well, the multiplicative inverse of 1/3 is 3 over 1, or just 3. How do I know that? Because 1 over 3 times its multiplicative inverse, which is, let me erase that, which is 3 over 1. I get 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Like I said before, anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, so moving right along to our next slide. We will change up our pen color. And we're going to change it up to green, because that's a good color. So the division rule. Pretty much when you divide a number A by a non-zero number B, it's the same as multiplying A by the multiplicative inverse of B. So A divided by B equals A times 1 over B. 5 divided by 2 equals 5 times the multiplicative inverse of 2, which is 1/2. So let's see here. 6 divided by 4 is the same as 6 times 1 over 4, or 6 over 4, or 3 over 2. So let's think back to our fractions, to dealing with fractions. You know the whole divide, when you divide by a fraction, you flip it and multiply? Let's check this out. So if I am doing 3/4 divided by, 2/5, the whole fraction rule is you flip the second one and multiply. Well, if you look at this, pretty much what I'm doing is I'm following the division rule, which is saying I multiply the first number by the multiplicative inverse of the second, which is flipping the fraction. So it's 3 over 4 times 5 over 2, which is 15 over 8. There you go. That's why you flip it and multiply. So let's do some more examples. Like how I have examples down here and I write them up all around here. So if I was doing 3 divided by 5, that's the same as doing 3 times the multiplicative inverse of 5 is 1 over 5. So it's 3 over 5. So if I divide 10 by 5. Well, we all know that's 2, but that's the same as doing 10 times the multiplicative inverse, or 1/5, which is 10 over 5, which is 2. Okay, let's make it a little bit more challenging. I'm going to erase here. Just going to erase here. And I'm going to throw in some variables because it's true that algebra is all about the variables. So let's see here. What if I was doing like 10x plus 15 divided by 5? Well, the way I would set that up is I would multiply 10x plus 15 by the multiplicative inverse of 5. And the multiplicative inverse of 5 is 1/5. And now I can use that super duper distributive property. So I do 10x times 1/5. Well, what is 1/5 of 10x? I do 1/5 times 10x plus, because I have a plus there, 1/5 times 15. All right. So what is 1/5 times 10x? Well, that's 2x. Plus, what is 1/5 of 15? 3. So there is division using variables and using the distributive property. Once again, it's time to change up the color. Keep you guys on your toes. Let's try this color. So the sign of a quotient, just like if you multiply two numbers of the same sign, so if I do like positive times positive, I get positive. Negative times negative, I get positive. Positive times negative, that's a multiplied by, equals negative. Okay, so if the quotient, remember quotient means division. The quotient of any two numbers of the same sign is positive. So if I do, let's see here, positive 10 divided by positive 2, my answer will be 10 times 1/2, also known as 5, positive. If I did negative 10 divided by negative 2, I would have negative 10 times negative 1/2. Look, I've changed this to a multiplication. When I multiply two negatives, I get a positive. So multiplying 10 by 1/2 gives me 5. Okay, the quotient of any two numbers with different signs is negative. So let's say I do negative 15 divided by 3. That's the same as saying negative 15 times 1/3. I'm multiplying a negative times a positive. That gives me a negative 5. Same deal if I'm doing 15 divided by negative 3. Gives me positive 15 times a negative 1/3 equals negative 5. Yay! Okay, the quotient of 0 and any non-zero real number is 0. So basically what that says is 0 divided by any number, 213 equals 0. What this does not mean, a number divided by 0, because not possible. So basically this says if I divide 0 by any number, A, my answer is always, 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 always 0. Okay, time for some examples. Let's take this yucky color brown and let's do some examples. So let me think here. First of all, what is the multiplicative inverse? What mult inverse of ... negative 6. Well, my multiplicative inverse is negative 1 over 6. What is a multiplicative inverse of 2 over 3? Well, I pretty much just flip it, and it's 3 over 2. What is the multiplicative inverse of negative 3 over 5? Well, it's negative 5 over 3. Okay, now let's do some division problems. So if I am doing 16 divided by 4, well, that's easy. That's the same as saying 16 times 16 times 1 over 4, which is 16 over 4, which is 4. If it was negative 16 divided by positive 4, I'd have negative 16 times 1 over 4 is negative 16 over 4, which is negative 4. Okay, now let's do some other division with algebra. What if I had, 8x plus 10 all over 2? Well, I would rewrite that as 1/2 times 8x. Oh, I set that up wrong. Hold on a second. Let me erase that. That would be, I would multiply 8x plus 10 by the multiplicative inverse of 2, which is 1/2. Now, I use my distributive property, so I have 1/2 times 8x plus, I bring down my plus sign, 1/2 times 10. Well, 1/2 of 8x is 4x, plus 1/2 of 10 is 5, and that's my answer because I cannot mush together 4x and 5 because they are not like terms. Alright, some problems for you to try. Let's see, we'll start off with, let's do 25 divided by 3. And then we'll do 42 divided by negative 7. And then we'll kick it into high gear and do 20x plus 25 all over 5. And then we will do negative, or no, we won't. We'll do, let's see here, 18x minus 12 all over negative 3. All right, good luck. So good luck. See you in class.